You have a headache, not the kind of headache that happens for a bad day, but the kind that lives behind your eyes and just stays there for the longest time possible. You have had it for weeks, you think that it's stress or probably it's your screen's brightness. You think that it's a lot of things that you're facing right now. You are also buying stuff you don't remember ordering. It shows up at your door and you vaguely remember ordering it at 11 p.m. Maybe, just maybe, the problem is that your phone was in your hand. It's always in your hand. And when you sit down to actually create something, to write, think, do something creatively, plan something for your upcoming project, nothing comes out of here. Nothing. It's just the loud noise, the noise that kind of lives in an empty house. And that was me, for the longer time than I want to admit. But then, while doing my personal curriculum, I read this one line that just made me put my book down and rethink my entire existence. It was from the book Atomic Habits by the author James Clear, and it mentioned that that on an average, if you're spending 2 hours of your life on your phone, you're actually spending an entire month from an year. 1 month every year gone just like that on your phone. And I truly sat with it for some time because I wanted to do the math by myself, and oh god, that math did not lie. 2 into 365 days is equal to 730 hours. That's 30 days. That's actually the whole month of your life just gone scrolling on your phone. That's when I started paying attention to this subconscious habit of ours, and what I found, the actual science about what it does to your brain, is something that I need to share it with you because it's not just about the time that we are losing to our phones, it's much more than that. If you are new here, hi, I'm Twinkle. Subscribe before we can go further because this channel is for the women who want to stop playing the victim in their life and become the full package. So I want you to stick around. Now here's the thing about doom scrolling, and I know that there are a lot of videos on this concept already, but no one explains this properly. Doom scrolling is not a habit, it is a loop. It is a loop designed by people a lot smarter than us so that it becomes impossible for us to break through that loop with willpower alone. So every time you're scrolling, something is designed to catch your attention. It could be a reel, it could be a fight in the comments, it could be somebody else's lifestyle, it could be somebody's body. And when you are watching things like that, your brain releases dopamine. Now, dopamine is the hormone that our body releases when we want to feel good. But here's the catch. When you are doing it constantly, your brain quickly adapts. When the brain adapts, there's no more novelty to it. So your brain needs more and more to feel the same hit. So it downregulates. And the baseline level of your dopamine hit drops significantly. That's when you start feeling flat, you start feeling unmotivated, you start feeling foggy. And it's not happening because you're going through some condition. It's simply because your brain is withdrawing between the hits that you're giving it with constant scrolling. That's the headache. That's the fog. That's why nothing feels satisfying in your life anymore. And then what I found is the attention span data. Gloria Mark at UC Irvine found that our attention spans have reduced to 47 seconds. This is a report in 2024, and I'm pretty sure it is just on a decline. And you know what's even crazier, when I was studying this research, that after every interruption, your brain actually needs 23 uninterrupted minutes to bounce back to its normal state. Normal state of deep, to bounce back and regain a deep focus. And we have been sold this narrative, which is that you can multitask, which means that we are switching between tasks, which means we are switching between the tasks more than 30 times an hour. And I am also guilty of it. I think that multitasking is my forte, but multitasking is actually sabotaging our brains. And while we are multitasking, we also feel that there is no harm to just check our Instagram notification, but then we are back in that loop. So my dear friends, you are being trained, just not by you, but other people who are controlling your life through these algorithmic designed feeds. And here's even the crazier part, which is going to probably impact you the way it impacted me, that there is an existing network in our brain called the default mode network. Okay, now this default mode network is actually where the creative idea stems from. This is the hub of all the creativity that we have and we can produce. It is where the original ideas, the novel ideas come. It is where you connect the unexpected dots together. It is where the actual you, with your experiences, your skill set, your thought process, shows up. But it only shows up when you are bored, when you are quiet. And I'm also currently reading this book, A Creative Act, A Way of Being, by Rick Rubin. That book also talks about the exact same thing, that if you want the creative juices to flow, you actually have to allow yourself to be bored. But are we doing that? Because every time we are picking our phones up in the lift, while waiting for our coffee, while sitting with our family, we are actually turning off this default mode network, which can help us to produce the creativity. We think that we are scrolling on our phone and we are resting. No, we are actually preventing from something magical to happen in our life. So the creativity block you are having, the type of feeling that you are having, that I'm consuming so much still I'm not able to produce anything, it's just because you have turned off your default mode network and you're not even giving it a single moment to turn on. Now let me take a moment and let me be a bit harsh with you with all the love that I have for you. When we say we don't have time, Indian women especially who are living with their in-laws, because I'm married and I know how we all have these conversations that, oh my god, we don't have time, we just have to sit with the family and all of that jazz. When we tell ourselves that we don't have time to read, we don't have time to learn a new skill, we don't have time to work on ourselves, we are just busy. But whereas we are spending 5 hours on our goddamn phone every single day. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's not a time problem. That's not your family sucking the time out of you. That's bullshit that you're selling to yourself. And somewhere inside, you already know that, don't you? What it actually is a self-worth problem, because you have decided it somewhere quietly without saying it out loud that your growth is not important, that your growth can take a backseat while you are watching somebody else live their dream life. That scrolling on somebody else's life is a great substitute for building your own. It is not. Let me say it out loud. It is not. And the fact that you're watching it is that you're done pretending that it is. Quick pause. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do it now, because what awaits in the next chapters of this channel, because what awaits in the next videos of this channel is going to change your life in 2026. Now, moving on to the solution. So what do you do instead of doom scrolling on your phone, and how do you re-go, and how do you actually regain that deep focus, that creative state in your brain? And no, I'm not going to suggest you to do a dopamine detox. Not even I'm going to tell you that delete Instagram from your phone for 21 days, even though that's a very good option. Rather, I'm going to give you something structural, something that replaces your brain's constant need of doing something with something that actually matters, that is depth of things. And it can all change with one decision. It has changed for me the day I decided that I am only going to consume long form content. Stick with me here. Books, long form podcasts, long form YouTube videos, the videos that are designed to actually train you for something, not the kind of videos that are just designed to keep you half asleep and doom scrolling. And why am I so hell-bent on consuming this long form content this year? It's because it's the only format that rebuilds what doom scrolling has actually destroyed. Every time you're watching someone for 1 hour, you're reading a book for 1 hour, you're having a meaningful conversation with someone for an hour, you are rewriting the neural pathways that every scroll has broken down in your brain. You are reconstructing your ability to focus, to think, to sit with something for a longer duration of time. And this year I also committed to reading 52 books. As I'm recording this, it's already February 20th and I've already read 5 books. I know I have a little bit backlog, but I know how I'm going to plan it. And with this deadline, with this constant pressure on my head that I have to achieve this, there is barely any time to scroll. And then to take it a step further, to support my habit of consuming long form content, I have done 3 more things which you should do too. First of all, build a personal curriculum. I cannot shut up about it. It's because it has changed my life so drastically. When I did it in the last quarter of 2025, I picked up the subject of self-identity. I read books like Becoming Supernatural, Psycho-Cybernetics, Mindset, Atomic Habits. I even read so many articles and I watched movies that constantly talked about this subject, and it rewired how I think about myself, how I started showing up so differently in my life. So when I say that building a personal curriculum can change your life, it truly can. And now I'm continuing that habit, and these days I'm reading things which is related how AI is shaping the reality for us, and I'm also treating it like a university course. So every time I'm reading a book, I'm actually using AI and brainstorming with AI to dive deep into the subjects of it, no matter what I'm reading. For example, this Valentine's, my husband gifted me a set of Penguin book classics, right? Now I have decided that every Sunday when I am avoiding my laptop screen, I am going to pick out one book from it which is like 50-60 pages, and I'm going to finish it in a Sunday. That is very much doable for me, right? But consuming such literature is not just for the sake of reading. It is also to understand the underlying themes of it. I did English honors, so I kind of understand that you need to analyze these things from a very different lens. Now, what I started doing to go in more depth is that first of all, I will go on AI and I will type the name of that author. I will ask the AI to tell me everything that I need to know about the author and their works and their contribution towards the literature, why it matters so much. Then, once I've read the book, I will give AI my inputs of what I think about that book, what were the themes that I took out of it, and then I will go ahead and do brainstorm with it. With all that information that I have, then I will go back to my Obsidian and I will prepare a dedicated research note onto it. That is how deep I'm going with it. And this is not just for the books that I'm reading, this is also for the videos that I'm consuming or the podcast that I'm listening to. Every time I'm consuming a long form content, I have made it a rule for myself that I will create something every time I'm consuming something. So let's say I have consumed couple of videos on the subject of how to stop doom scrolling, how to curate an information diet, how to make a digital garden for your brain. So what I'm going to do is I'm creating a video, and this is helping me so much because now my consumption is very intentional. Every time I'm clicking on a video, I'm asking myself this question: am I going to take something out of this video? Is this video something that I can actually go back and talk about? If not, I skip it. And that is, my dear friends, how we are going to go on an information diet. You have to find your aesthetic, you have to pick your lane, you have to pick things you are obsessed about. Because when you know what you're building intellectually, when you have a direction, all of a sudden the need to look at sideways just disappears. Because actual depth like this is where brainy baddies live. Now, I want to leave you with this because I can vouch for it that when I came on the other side of my personal curriculum, my headaches were gone, the fog was gone, I was more present in my day-to-day life. The overconsumption of these products that every influencers want you to have, it was all gone. And I started showing up with the ideas that I've never had before. I had opinions that were actually mine and not just shaped from 1,000 reels that I've watched. And then the last part, I understood myself in the ways that made sense of everything in my life, just by substituting those 2 hours of scrolling with something real more productive. That's the actual math. That's the girl math we are talking about. Because 1 month right now might not sound big to you, but when it compounds over time in your life, it is actually a huge amount of time that you have just given away to a machine. And that 1 hour that you spend scrolling instead of studying something new is the difference between who you are right now and who you were always supposed to become. She is not far. She's just waiting for you to curate your information. And with that, I will see you next week. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel because I'm on a mission to find all the brainy baddies out there. Let me know if you are one of them.